G'day there, Sheilas, Sheilettes and gents, it's your Aussie Hubby Markee, back at it again with another r/entitled people video. Now if you love me like I love you, then you know what to do. I want you to mosey on over, right to that old like button and smack it like Crocodile Dundee. Maybe even chuck an Aussie flag down in the comments. Now with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody entitled people. Now our first post today is by user I Love Cars 675. Titled, Entitled Aunt has her wish fulfilled and regrets it completely. This is my second post about my aunt. We shall call her EA for this one. The story I posted initially happened after this one, and let me tell you, the one I'm about to write will brighten your day. So a few months ago, a bunch of family visited from a foreign country to come celebrate my sister's marriage. The visitors consisted of two of my other aunts along with Entitled Auntie. After the wedding was over, my mother and I thought it would be a good idea to take a trip to Niagara Falls with all three aunts. So the day of the trip comes. Entitled Auntie is late as usual, doing all her hair and makeup. We get there in one piece though, but she was very mad that I sat in front of the car as that was usually her seat. I told her that I had to since I'd been to the falls before and had to guide my mum, the driver, the way there. It was the off-season, meaning there was a smaller crowd visiting the area that day, and it was pretty damn cold. Entitled Auntie throws a fit the second we get there since we decided to park in a lot closest to the falls. She complained it was too expensive, but we shrugged it off, since it was easier for everyone to park close, even if it cost $20. Plus it was cold. No one wanted to walk too far. Plus my mother paid for it. It was a long car ride, so we decided we wanted coffee. I want one now, not gonna lie. We had to walk about 10 to 15 minutes to the closest one, and I was using my phone for directions. Since we had to walk along the falls to get there, we stopped often to take photos, since my aunts, not Entitled Auntie, have never seen it in person. Mind you, we were on the Canadian side. It was beautiful. It wasn't long until Entitled Auntie was wandering around by herself. We lost her a few times, but at some point me and the rest of the group gave no fricks. We happily took the pictures without her presence. Now we're about a minute from the coffee shop, and I'm looking around the crowded strip for the place. Entitled Auntie thinks I'm confused and starts guiding the group and then walks over to a burger joint exclaiming, "Look, I found coffee! Now that wasn't too hard." She was so confident, so I said, "That's a fudging burger joint. The coffee shop is up there." My mother laughs. Entitled Auntie, who prides herself on her slim figure, stuffed her face at that shop. Not sure if she was hungry, or if it was because she knew I was paying and wanted to spite me. Probably it was my fault for telling everyone to order whatever they wanted, but I wanted to treat my family. So the end of the day is approaching. We're all freezing and ready to grab some grub and head home. I tell my mother that we should head over to a McDonald's since it'll be quick and we can get home faster. After that, I head to the washroom and was gone for maybe 5 minutes. As I walk out of the stall, Entitled Auntie comes rushing to me and saying, "I have a fantastic idea. There's a pretty expensive restaurant overlooking the falls, so what I think we should do is order a plate of food, share it, order some food, and watch the lights get protected on the falls." Think they mean projected? It's like Northern Lights projected on the falls or something like that? You guys can tell me in the comments. Okay, no. First of all, entrees at that restaurant are $25 plus. One plate won't feed 5 people. Also, it's embarrassing to walk into a high-end restaurant and share one damn plate. And I already know you won't be paying, so ultimately you have no say. That really put her in her place. She begged, but I said no. We weren't gonna do that. Plus, Entitled Auntie has been to Niagara Falls several times. No one but her wanted to see the light show on the falls. It was all in self-interest. Now Entitled Auntie is frustrated, and I'm slightly amused. We all agree McDonald's will be good for dinner. We get into the car and start driving, and Entitled Auntie pulls out a bag of snacks from her purse and feasts on it. Once she's done, she proclaims, "Well, I just had a fantastic healthy snack, and I feel great. Don't expect me to pay a dime for food because I won't be eating any." She tried to make it funny, but I took it seriously. So when we got to McDonald's, I didn't order any food for her. I bring everything to the table, and she has the audacity to ask, "Where's my chicken burger?" I tell her, you said you weren't hungry, so I didn't order any for you. She goes silent, then guilts the rest of the group into giving small portions of their food to her, and I sat there eating my meal with a grin on my face. Your wish is my command, entitled Auntie. Alright, and our next post is by user Castlefist, titled, Entitled Nice Guy Thinks My Girlfriend Should Get Passed Around. Oh, what the Disclaimer, this happened 7 years ago and I'm no longer in a relationship with the girl in question, but we broke up on good terms. When we were about 4 months into the relationship, my then girlfriend got approached by the nice guy. They shared a mutual friend and he claimed mutual friend had a crush on her. He then demanded she broke up with me and start dating his friend, because according to him, I had her for long enough and should give him a chance. Unsurprisingly, she told him to sod off. I was also pretty miffed about the whole situation, but not in a position to confront the guy. Unbeknownst to the nice guy, the mutual friend was also a friend of mine, so I confronted him about the whole situation. He admitted to having a crush on my then girlfriend, but immediately said he was never planning on acting on it. He respected her choice, our relationship, and me too much to even consider it. He was going to confront Nice Guy about it though. This is where Nice Guy's true entitlement shines through. Nice Guy claimed he did it to help mutual friend, but said after that they had gotten together, he'd wait 4 months. Then he'd ask mutual friend to break up with her and let him have his turn with her. Nice Guy figured since he was such a nice guy and got them together, that that would be the least they could do to repay his kindness. Needless to say, none of the parties involved in that plan appreciated it very much. He got kicked out of the friend group that he and mutual friends were in, and ostracized by pretty much anyone. He spent his last years at that school a complete loner. Alright, our next post is by Vedalapa, titled, Entitled Man Calls Cops on Me for Parking My Truck Properly. So this happened like a year ago. I'm doing truck driving in a moving company in the big cities, and due to that I have to park in some crappy places due to the customers living in crowded places. I had a gig where I had to drive like 150 kilometers to another city to do moving services with a team for a company. So once we got there, we saw that there was a construction work going on right next door, which resulted to the part of the sidewalk, which was huge enough for 2 trucks normally because there were a lot of companies there I assume, being taken by it. Also, because it only had one right lane, for safety reasons, I had to park my truck partly on the sidewalk so that cars wouldn't run into each other. I made sure that there was enough room for people to go through without having to go by the car road. By the way, this is completely legal in my country to park during the packing of a vehicle. So it took about 30 minutes, and there he was. This was around a 2-hour packing job. This middle-aged guy on a bike, ready to conquer the world. EB, entitled biker. First he came next to my truck and started taking pictures. I didn't mind because this kind of behavior is nothing new to me. He's like, hey, you have to move your truck. No man, I'm in the middle of the work, and there was obviously enough room that you could go through. What if there's someone comes with children in a carriage? Cue a woman walking through with a child carriage, looking confused because we both look at her. I give the entitled bike man a smile, never stopped working by the way. You know that parking like this is illegal, right? No it isn't, you can look it up if you want. Move your truck, this is illegal. My co-workers come from the inside to bring more stuff for me to pack into the truck. Coworker 1 says, what's going on? Some jerk is trying to make me move my truck. So nothing unusual, just pay no mind. Don't you have anything better to do than harass people who are just trying to do their job? Move this truck or I'm going to call the police. We all just smile and leave him to his BS and keep working because we know that he can't do anything. The guy then proceeds to make a few phone calls. I assume to our company and the police and keep spewing his BS. We just ignore it because we have a lot of places to visit and know we'll be doing at least 2 hours of overtime without him bothering us. Around 15 minutes go by. He's like, move the truck or I'll call the police. I'm now smiling and I say, haha, who did you just call now then? Entitled brat goes silent for a minute and keeps on spewing, then about my illegal parking actions. Then I saw a police car drive behind his back. They looked at the situation, slowed down, smiled and kept on driving. It was the middle of the day, so by now there were a lot of trucks all over the place taking up sidewalks in the area. Post trucks, vehicles bringing food to stores, etc. So I tell him, "Dude, can't you go harass the other truck drivers? Look around you, man. I'm not the only one parked like this." But either way, thanks for the laughs. Really enjoyed this. Entitled Bicycle Bratman is fuming at this point. So me and my co-workers give up and just tell him to piss off if he doesn't have to pay our salary for the time that we are using with him instead of the customer. He finally decides to leave, but it isn't over yet. Entitled Bikeman decided to go and post about this incident on Facebook to all of his 100 friends, and my co-worker spotted the post. He basically was rambling about how I was a jerk for parking there and we were disrespectful. And they just thanked me for the laughs they got out of me. First, I didn't pay no mind, but then he had also ranted about that he was almost fined for calling the emergency number on us, and they warned EB that if he called again, that he would get fined for disrupting the emergency line or some crap. But yeah, happy ending. It was a long-ass day, but we got a lot of good laughs about it, and the construction workers also laughed. What the hell was that about? And we even told our boss about it, who also laughed about how people can be that stupid. Sorry about such a long post, and if I have some bad grammar, remember, I'll inform you that English isn't my first language. Thank you if you made it this far. And with that said, we're on to our next post by Mental Illness 420. Titled, Entitled Parent Smashes Glass All Over My Floor of My Work and Blames It on Me. Backstory. When I was 17, I got a part-time job for the summer working in a restaurant where my mother worked also. It was big enough, but it was all open planning, so you could see everything that was going on. This is important later. So, I'm working one fine summer day, and in comes entitled parent and her 2 brat kids, who look to be about 8 and 10. I seat them down with their menus and bring over a glass jug of ice water, as most restaurants do. As I set the jug down, her kids ask if they can have juice instead of water, and I tell them that unfortunately we are out of juice. We have dispensers in our wall that you get the juice out of. They are simply the ones that bars have for vodka. Entitled parent calls bullcrap to this and demands that I fill up the glass jug with juice. I then point to the empty dispensers and literally show her that we are out. At this point, her kids are screaming that they want juice, and I try to calmly tell them that we don't have any. Then entitled parent picks up the fudging glass jug and just lets it drop to the ground, and it just fudging shatters everywhere, then looks me in the eye and says, "Can I speak to your manager?" However, the manager wasn't in that day, and when he's not in, my mother is in charge. So my mother comes over and asked her what's wrong, and entitled parent goes hysterical, saying that I threatened her kids by shattering the glass jug when they asked for juice. She then says that she's going to press charges against me and she wants me fired. But as I said before, this restaurant was all open planning and my mother had seen everything and knew that entitled parent was lying. I'm a tall girl, nearly 6'1" and I'm 17, so my mother wasn't exactly small either. I'd say maybe 5'11", which is pretty tall. So my mother literally bends down the entitled parent's height and puts on that voice that all mothers put on when someone screws with their child, and says, "I saw everything that happened, and I know that you're lying through your fudging teeth, and you better leave before I press charges for putting my fudging daughter at risk by shattering glass at close proximity that could easily hurt her. And so help me God if I decide that I want to press charges. Let me tell you that you will never be able to show your face in a fudging restaurant in this area again." My mother is pretty high up in the restaurant industry in my area, as she has been a chef in most of those restaurants. I swear, when entitled parent heard that I was the manager's daughter, her face pales so much that I thought she was going to faint. She grabbed her kids and rushed out of the door, and thankful we haven't seen her since. Alright, that was a big one. Our next post is by Nice Lizards, titled My Toxic Ex-Best Friend. So, I've known Bread, that's what I'm choosing to call her, since I was around 9 or 10, and even then she thought she was deserving of anything I had. For Christmas one year, I think I was 9, my mum gave me a pink video camera. As soon as she saw it, she asked if she could have it. I said no, but I want to videotape my friends when I go visit them, she whined. This was when she first moved here. My sister suggested she buy a disposable camera, but that's not the same, Brett insisted. As we got older, she began to want my clothes too. Anytime I got a new outfit, she insisted on trying it on. If I let her borrow anything, she would ask if I was planning to give it to her, even after I told her I was just letting her borrow it. When I was in the 10th grade, I was invited to prom by a senior. I bought a beautiful dress that I absolutely love. After prom, Brett insisted I give her the dress. I asked her what occasion she would need my dress for and why she couldn't just buy her own. She told me she just really loved it and I might need it someday for a formal event like a gala. Last year, my sister got her license. My grandparents got her a car as a reward. I've never really been too interested in driving. I have a learner's permit, but I'm in no rush to get a license, and I prefer public transit. My grandparents thought offering to buy me a car as well would be good motivation for me to get a license. I turned them down and told them it would be a waste of money. I told Brett the next day. The conversation went like this. Brett says, "You should have told them you wanted it and given it to me." The weird part is, she didn't even have a permit yet. I couldn't though. The car they were looking at was $10,000. I could never give away a $10,000 gift. If they were willing to pay for it, they could afford it. My grandparents would be so heartbroken if I gave away a gift from them. They wouldn't find out. My grandparents live in the same town, by the way. If I got the car, my mum would be paying the insurance, and my grandparents would have purchased it under my name. So if anything would have happened to the car, my entire family would have been screwed. Brett has done a lot of other things to me, but these small stories are the only ones that fit this subreddit. It's been months since I've spoken to her, and I couldn't have left that friendship without the support of many of my good friends. Edit. People keep asking me why I remained friends with Brett for so long. The reason is that she always told me that anyone that was nice to me was only being nice out of pity. I was terrified to be alone. Also, our mums used to be really good friends, and I didn't want to ruin their friendship. And to anyone wondering if I ever gave her any of my stuff, I didn't. And good on you. And our next post is by Kaligawawa, entitled Sister Won't Listen to My Parents. So my sister has been acting like a head case recently, and it's really annoying. This is an ongoing situation, and the coronavirus doesn't play a part in this. Does play a part, sorry. My older sister and I go to the same college, which is about an hour south of where we live. She has been trying to go back down for a few days because she doesn't like it here. Though it is much safer to be in our town than our college during these times. She has an apartment there. For context, the town we live in has 0 cases. Our entire county has less than 20 cases. Our college town has a little less than 100 cases and increasing daily. My parents are fairly easygoing, but strict when they need to be. For some reason, my sister will either test their limits or try and question their authority. She likes to be the boss of everything, which leads to arguments between her and my parents. She hardly listens to them and just doesn't know her place. She claims my parents cause too much stress, which is a lie. My dad works from home and spends most of his time in his office working. My mum is on a board of a local bank, so she is already dealing with enough stress. I just do my online schooling and play video games. I understand that kids our age like to be independent and away from home, but she has been acting absolutely ridiculous. She made my mum cry today, which pissed me off. Unfortunately, she has done that before. However, she turns 21 next month and won't listen to anyone. Of course, she won't listen to me because I'm her younger brother. This led to a few mental issues for me. She won't listen, but my parents have said that if she goes down, she will stay there till the end of the school year and will be put downstairs for 2 weeks in the guest bedroom and bathroom to make sure that the rest of the family stays safe. She even argued that. She has been yelling at all of us and throwing a fit like a little kid. Thank you for reading, and sorry if it's confusing. Edit, thank you all for the support. It means a lot. Just to clarify a few things, my state is not in a mandatory lockdown, so police are unable to give out fines. Also, to those that think my parents are too soft, they're easygoing if you stay in the boundaries. One example is I had my keys taken away for a week when I came home at 2 AM instead of midnight. Also, when they do act strict on my sister, she cries and claims that we're the worst family ever. My parents have hidden every single key to every single car so she doesn't get any ideas. Edit 2. She left earlier today, but we had a big family talk before she left. I also did not expect this to blow up, so thank you again everyone for the support. She is staying down there till the end of the school year and then staying 2 weeks in our basement when she gets back. Also, please stop commenting that she needs to be slapped or hurt. Though I don't like how she is acting, she is still my sister, and I do not like people threatening her or calling for violence on her. Please understand that. Rightio guys, and our next post is by Someone You Know 22, titled Entitled Aunt Wants My Necklace for Her Daughter. This story is from 4 years ago. So, if you're reading this, you're probably thinking, what's with this necklace? What's the big deal? I'll tell you. My great-grandmother survived Mengele twin experiments. She and her twin sister were the only ones in their family to survive the Holocaust. After the Holocaust, my great-grandmother went to Ireland and her twin sister went to Israel. But the necklace survived the Holocaust and thankfully wasn't stolen by those people during World War II. It's a tiny diamond on a gold chain in a circular pendant, though the setting and chain have changed throughout the years. The story starts when my great-grandmother died of natural causes in 2016. She went peacefully, and I think she was relieved to go, as her sister died a few years before. Every cousin on my side was anxiously hoping that they'd get the necklace, and much to my shock and delight, and everyone's disappointment, she willed it to me. My aunt through marriage, as she married my uncle, let's call her entitled Auntie, threw a fit and started shouting that the necklace belonged to her daughter, Lucy, name changed for privacy reasons because she was older than me. Her tantrum I'm pretty sure could be heard throughout the entire neighborhood. Everyone was shocked, but Lucy seemed pleased because she thought that I would give up the necklace. No way in hell. After about 10 minutes of her sobbing and screeching at me to let her daughter have it because it was rightfully hers, as Lucy was the oldest female cousin and I being the third oldest, it was my duty to give it to her. I still didn't relent to her tantrum. A few moments later, my older brother, a very tall man who towers over the rest of our family, and a current Marine who has been to Iraq and Afghanistan on multiple occasions, glared at her and got her to shut up. The necklace later went to me and I never take it off. I still get messages from entitled aunties saying that I'm being rude by refusing to give the necklace to Lucy, but I ignore them. I've stopped worrying about that woman a long time ago. Edit spelling errors and thank you for the kind words. I corrected the censored word, I'm dyslexic. The reason why I censored this word because people will actively search this word out, might find me and harass me. This was also typed on mobile. Alright, and our next post is by Lil Blue Sky 87, titled Karen Screams at Me Over an Item I Bought, Gets Kicked Out of the Store. Hello all. Hopefully you are keeping busy and staying safe during these strange times. Sorry for the spelling mistake and or formatting errors. I'm on mobile. TLDR at the bottom. Enjoy. Some backstory. I have recently been diagnosed with cancer. It's stage 1, and I would prefer not to say what type, but just know that I'm currently being treated for it, and I'm also scheduled for surgery to get it taken out. As any cancer patient will tell you, the chemo sucks. My oncologist has told me that I'm not supposed to go out much because she doesn't want me to risk getting sick because my immune system is currently sitting somewhere in the garbage. All very reasonable. However, the pain meds that I am taking are a controlled substance, and as such, I cannot have it be delivered, and I also cannot send someone else to pick it up for me. It must be me, and I am also required to show ID to pick it up. Also important to note is that my boyfriend has been taking massage therapy classes so that he can help make me feel better when the pain becomes unbearable. I don't feel like there needs to be a cast mentioned because it was really just me, my boyfriend Karen, a security guard, and a young male cashier involved, and only me, Karen, and the cashier actually spoke. Alrighty, with that out of the way, let's begin. My boyfriend and I had to go pick up a prescription for me. The pharmacy we'll call Hoppers has groceries, household items, and also the usual stuff you find at a pharmacy in it. We decided to pick up some groceries and supplies while we were waiting for the pharmacists to fill said prescription, so I took a cart and headed down an aisle to grab some face cleansing stuff. After I did that, I turned around and headed towards the pharmacy area to check to see how long we had until my meds were ready. On my way there, I grabbed a bottle of aloe vera gel, as it was on sale, and just as I do, the following happened. Karen practically screaming at me, "Of course! Look at you, grabbing the aloe vera gel right away. Ooh, I wonder why?" I turned around to look at her. She didn't have the typical Karen haircut, but she did have her long blonde hair piled up on top of her head in a messy bun, bright pink nails, and a lot more than makeup than a trip to Hopper's called for. She scoffed and smirked at me, then stomped off, before I could say anything back at her. I was stunned, and I think my brain actually misfired a couple of neurons or something, because I just couldn't believe that some random lady just yelled at me over aloe vera gel. After I picked my jaw up off the floor, I looked around at her because I was angry. I mean, what business is it of hers if I'm buying some aloe? Like, sure, you can use it to make hand sanitizer, but I literally grabbed just one bottle of it, not even close to the 4 per customer limit that the store had. After a couple of minutes, I spotted her 2 aisles over, so I quietly came up behind her and, not yelling, but definitely louder than necessary, say, "Lady, I have frickin' cancer. Excuse me for enjoying a massage from my boyfriend every now and then after a grueling day of cancer treatment." Karen turns bright red, stammering, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about someone else. Yeah, whatever, lady. The thing is, she and I were the only ones in the store, besides my boyfriend and the staff, due to the store only allowing so many people in at a time, and also because this particular Hoppers is a little smaller than most, so it doesn't seem to get a lot of traffic anyway. I walked away to find my boyfriend so that we could continue shopping while we waited for my meds. I found him and of course told him what had just happened. You think it was over at that point, but oh no. After a little while had passed, my meds were ready and my boyfriend and I managed to get everything on our shopping list. We were done, and I was getting pretty tired, so we headed towards the front to pay for everything. I guess a few more customers had come into the store after all of that happened, so there was a little bit of a line, but we really didn't mind because that's when I saw Karen standing directly ahead of us in line. I pointed her out to my boyfriend. He was still fuming about how she had actually yelled at me, and also about how she straight up lied to my face when I called her out on it. But then he kind of chuckled, then nudged me, and gestured me towards the Karen's shopping cart. The crazy Karen had the entire cart absolutely full of toilet paper. The store has huge signs everywhere about how there's a limit of 2 packages of TP per customer, and Karen had an entire shopping cart full. Boyfriend and I watched in awe as she pulled her credit card out as she gets to the front, and we got to witness the most glorious thing unfold right in front of us. Cashier politely says, "I'm sorry ma'am, but due to the extremely high demand, there is a limit of only 2 packages of toilet paper per..." Karen cuts him off. "Yeah, I saw, but I don't care about your stupid signs. I'm a paying customer. I have a right to whatever the hell I want." But the system won't, screaming now, "I don't care. I am paying for it, so I will have what I want." Insert long, loud rant here. The cashier must have called for security somehow, or maybe they just heard the screeching. But whatever the case, a security guard materialized out of seemingly nowhere. Karen lost her mind and was practically frothing at the mouth when she saw the security guard. She tried to ram him with her cart, but since there was a lot of room, he just sidestepped it, grabbed her by the arm, and frog marched her out of the store. My boyfriend and I were quiet all the way back to the car, but the second we got in and the doors were closed, we looked at each other and cracked up laughing. We laughed for so long and so hard that we both had tears running down our faces. The whole way home we couldn't even look at each other without starting to laugh again. Stay safe, everyone. Alright, I think that's where I'm going to wrap up today's episode of r/EntitledPeople. Tell me what you thought about this one down in the comments below. Love to hear what you guys have to think about it. Hope you guys are having a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to during this quarantine. Hoping these stories are helping you get through. Not many interruptions or anything, you know, just smooth sailing. Karen stories, entitled stories, fighting stories, whatever you want. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.